I want you to give me like good summary of what these surahs are. Like, give me something that has spicy, okay? Go ahead, Sheikh Hussein.
So first,
Say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim awalan.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So first I'll read the three surahs. Then after that, I'll give the conclusion of all three surahs. First one is Ikhlas. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Say His Allah the One, the self-sufficient Master whom all creatures need. He neither eats nor drinks. He begets not, nor was He begotten. Falaq, daybreak. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Say, I seek refuge with Allah, the Lord of the daybreak, from the evil of what He has created, and from the evil of the darkening night, as it comes with its darkness, or the moon as it sets or goes away, and from the evil of those who practice witchcraft, then they blow in the nuts, and from the evil of the envier when he is blessed. An-Nas, mankind. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Say, I seek refuge with Allah, the Lord of mankind, the King of mankind, God of mankind, from the evil of whisperer, who whispers evil in the hearts of men, who withdraws from his whispering in one's heart after one remembers Allah, who whispers in the breasts of mankind, of jinn and mankind. So these three surahs is saying this. So Ikhlas is saying that there is one God. He's one God. He wasn't. Nobody gave birth. Nobody gave birth for him. He doesn't eat or drinks. So this is telling us that there's no God only. There's only one God. There's no 2, 3, or 4. There's only one. And
Go ahead.
Okay guys, so me and Sati worked together on this project and we did extensive research. So we're going to be talking about Surah An-Nas, Surah Al-Falaq, and Surah Al-Ikhlas, and we're going to be talking about the meaning behind it, the benefits of it, and we're going to tell you guys some stories. So Sati's going to take it. Oh, pause. So Madeline, correct us if we're wrong on anything, because we did get this research from online and we did use the Quran for some of it as well. So if we're wrong, correct us. We're just trying to give you guys the knowledge that we gained. So Sati's going to take it away.
Alright, assalamu alaikum guys. Alright, so before I begin the two surahs, I'm going to talk about the differences between the three surahs. So Surah An-Nas, you ask Allah to protect you from the evils that affect you internally, so anything that like bothers you from like your inside. And then Surah Al-Falaq, you ask Allah to protect you from the evils that affect you externally, so anything that like harms you, like either physically or away from you. And Surah Al-Ikhlas, that defines who Allah is, discusses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, discusses the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and defends the honor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, I'm going to start with Surah An-Nas, and I'm going to break down the ayahs for you. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, say I seek refuge to the Lord of mankind. Malik Nas, the king of mankind, so that's describing Allah. Ilahi Nas, the God of mankind, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Min sharrin waswasil khannas, so from the evils that whisper beyond you, so anyone who like talks about you, or harms you anyway, you're asking Allah to protect you from that. الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. So from the one who whispers beyond the breast. So like anyone who whispers or like says something about you like in the inside and not like around and out to other people. مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ, and from the evils of mankind. So you're asking to. So the main point of this surah is to protect you from the enemy's words. And in Surah Al-Falaq, so قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, say I seek refuge in the Lord of daybreak. مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ, so from the evils of what he created. وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ, so this is, and from the evils of darkness when it comes. So any evils that's in the night, so the thieves and like the animals like in the nighttime, you're asking Allah to protect you from that. And then وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, so this ayah is like important because it relates to the Prophet's story, which I'm going to explain to you guys later. And so naffathati is blowing on something, and then fil uqad are knots. So they're asking Allah to protect me from the evils who blows on something, and the knots relates to Prophet. And then وَمِنْ شَرٍ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, so and from the evils of an envier when he envies. So the people who are like hassid to you, like you're asking Allah to protect you from that.
We have an example of that, just a funny example so you guys can remember. Madeline, I'm going to use you. So, for example, if Madeline comes into Dixie one day, you guys are all here waiting to pass your Quran, and Madeline comes in and he has Nike socks on, and you guys are like, oh my god, wow, Madeline has such nice socks. I have these full socks, like, oh my god, Madeline's so cool, I wish I had it, and you're jealous. So like, you're protecting yourself from that. If Madeline reads that shit, he's protected from the evil eye. So like, you guys won't be jealous of Madeline's Nike socks.
Okay, so I hope you guys are wondering how it relates to the Prophet ﷺ. So I'm going to tell you the story. So Madeline, again, I don't know if this is right because I heard it from like a different like story. So like in Medina, there was a man who wanted to attack the Prophet ﷺ, and he goes by Labid, and he was the main witchcraft, like he was like very good at witchcraft and like black magic and all that. And so many people were jealous of the Prophet ﷺ because he was very successful, he was good looking, he was loving, and he adored his morals, and he was very knowledgeable. So they were all like kind of jealous of him. And so then people were like mad that they were giving him so much attention. So Labid decided to like use witchcraft and black magic on him. So what that is basically someone who gets something and like tries to harm you in a way, like either physically or mentally, like around you. And so this is like what happened to the Prophet. So Labid sent a little boy to him, okay, and he told him to get his hair. And then once he got his hair, Labid got like a rope, and then with the rope he tied 11 knots on his hair and like stuck needles in each knot of his hair. And so after he did that, he like blew some words on each knot. So that's where nafathati fil uqad comes from. Nafathati is like him blowing on something, and fil uqad are the knots. So the claim was to like either kill the Prophet ﷺ or like harm him in any way. So he did that on each knot. So then, like as day was going, the Prophet was getting very sick, and then 6 months later he became very, very ill. And then like the Prophet didn't know what was going on, like what happened to him, right? So then he stayed in Aisha Rasulullah's house, okay? And after that, Allah sent 2 angels to him and explained to him like what really happened and the witchcraft that was done on him. And yeah. Oh wait, I forgot to mention, but like after he did the knots, Labid took it to a well, like somewhere far, into a well, and put it like there was like water and like rocks and everything. And so then once the angels came to the Prophet and told him, the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahabas went to the well, and I heard it from this like website, but they said like when he went, the trees were like shaped as like devils, and like the water was like very, very dirty. And yeah, and so once they removed all the water, they found the hair and the knots. And then Jibril, the angel, came to him and said to read Surah Al-Nas and Surah Al-Falaq on each knot. So like, let me blow your minds, guys. So if the 2 surahs, Qul A'udhu Falaq and Qul A'udhu Nas, if you remove Bismillah from each of them, so like Qul A'udhu Nas, Malik Nas, Ilahi Nas, Min Sharri Waswasih Nas, Alladhi Yuwaswisu Fi Sudurin Nas, Min Al-Jinnati Wan Nas. Surah An-Nas has 6 ayahs. And then قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. قل أعوذ بالفلق has 5 ayahs, so if you add this together it's 11. So each knot he would read the ayah and then he would blow on each 11 knots with the 2 surahs. So once he read it, the Prophet ﷺ became instantly felt better. Alhamdulillah. And yeah, so the conclusion of this is, so if the Prophet ﷺ was bewitched, and if he was read that stuff on, do you guys think you guys are safe? So if you guys read these 2 surahs, then when you're not feeling safe, like in any situation, then Allah will always protect you, no matter what. So that's Surah An-Nas and Falaq, and I'm going to give it to Noel to explain Surah Al-Ikhlas.
Okay, so as Sadia said before at the beginning, when she talked about Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Ikhlas basically defends the honor of Allah, which I'll be explaining later in the story, just as Sadia did. So the main concept of this surah is it talks about the oneness of Allah Himself. So we all know we only believe in Allah, right? Yeah, we only believe in Allah. We don't believe in 7 different gods. We don't believe in a cow. We don't believe in some. We believe in Allah Himself, and He's the greatest. Continue. So I'm going to give a translation of the surah. So first ayah is قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. He is Allah. Say, He is Allah, the one and the only. And this verse talks about the oneness of Allah, and it sums up the essence of Islam. Because we all know our religion is based on only believing in Allah Himself, and we don't believe in more than one God. We don't believe in polytheistic belief, which is the belief in more than one God, and we don't believe in idols either, so we don't believe in statues. So the second ayah is Allahu Samad, Allah the Eternal, the Absolute. And this ayah declares that Allah is as-Samad, implying that He has all the attributes of perfection. So that just means Allah is the most perfect out of anybody, out of any creature, out of anything, any of His creations. He's the most perfect out of everything. And it means that He, everybody, all of us depend on Allah, but we don't. He doesn't depend on us. And the third ayah is Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He beggeth not, nor is He begging, nor is He begotten. And this describes that Allah is not, He wasn't born from a mother or father. He wasn't born and He did not give birth. So this just means He has no mother, He has no father, He has no niece, no nephew, no abaya, no awoa, no grandma, nothing. It's just Allah Himself. He didn't have any kids. He wasn't born from anything. And then the last ayah is وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is none like unto Him. And this just means that Allah is beyond comparison. We can't compare Him to any figure. We can't compare Him to any creation. We can't compare Him to anything. Like, this is kind of a weird example, but you can't say like, oh, I love my mom, I love my dad so much, I love my mom, I love my parents like I love Allah. Like, Allah is beyond that. He can't be compared to anything. Of course, love your mom, love your parents, that's good. You're supposed to do that. But Allah is beyond comparison, so you're not supposed to compare Him to anything. And so now I'm going to talk about the benefits of this surah. So according to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, I swear by Allah, this surah is equal to 1/3 of the Quran. And I'm sure many of you guys have heard this. Muhammad has talked about this during class. But when Prophet Muhammad says it's equal to 1/3 of the Quran, this doesn't mean that it's like if you read this surah 3 times that like it's like you read 1/3 of the Quran. It's the amount of blessings the surah has. So this surah is equal to the amount of blessings as if you read 1/3 of the Quran. And that's because the Quran is broken up into 3 components, which is the attributes of Allah is 1/3 of the Quran, the heavens and the hells, and talking about like what it is and like the how you get there and everything. That's one component. And the last component is talking about the rules and regulations of the Quran. So basically all the laws, all like praying, fasting, not drinking, not doing any bad things. So that's the 3 components, and Surah Al-Ikhlas talks about all that. It's like a summary of all of Allah's attributes. So that's why it's equal to 1/3 of the Quran. So now I'm going to give you guys a story. I hope you guys aren't bored yet. I'm going to tell you guys a story. I'm going to continue. So earlier when I was talking about how this surah defends the honor of Allah, I was talking about this story that I'm about to say. So this surah was brought on early in the days of Islam, the beginnings of Islam. And there was a tribe leader who went to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he was wondering, like, what is this new religion Prophet Muhammad is bringing down? Like, what is this new religion? So he said, "Oh Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which God are you calling to? What is this new religion?" And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "It's Allah." And then he said, this Bedouin, which is a nomadic Arab, he said he didn't know any better because, as I said before, he believes in polytheism, he believes in idolatry. So he believes in statues and he believes in more than one God. So he doesn't know any better. So he's like, "Hey, what is this? Like, what is it about? Like, what is this religion?" And so he says, "Describe this God to me. Is he made out of silver? Is he made out of gold? Is he made out of copper? Is he made out of wood?" He's wondering. He's like, "What is this? Like, what is he made out of?" Like, because during that time they carved their gods, so they would get statues and they'd carve different shapes and different animal figures, and they say, "This is our God." So they couldn't understand a God that wasn't like that was more than just like something that they could build or an image that they could portray. So he would continue to ask, he said, "Describe this God to me. Is he like a falcon with the body of a lion?" And it's crazy that people would believe that, but that's what happened at the time. And so this can relate to Greek mythology and Roman mythology, which you guys learned in school. I'm pretty sure you guys know it, where they believe in gods and goddesses, the belief of polytheism. And so this guy, he wanted to know, he said, "Oh, what's the family, like what's the lineage of this God Allah? Like, where does he come from? Who did he come from? What is his lineage?" And so, in response to these questions that this man was asking, Allah brought Surah Al-Ikhlas. So, the whole point of this surah is it summarizes the relationship that we have with Allah. It summarizes what makes Islam different from every other religion, which is that polytheism belief or that God has a brother and all that, those odd beliefs. And it shows what makes us different, and that's the concept of our God. And we believe that no one is like God, and we say Allah is as-Samad, meaning that He doesn't need anything from anyone, but we always need something from Him. Like, we always need something from Allah Himself. Alhamdulillah. So, moral of the story is we need to learn to love this surah. Not just because it's short and not just because it's easy to remember and we learned it when we were kids and we're like, "Oh, this surah is easy, so when we pray, that's the first surah we read." We have to love it for more than that. We have to love it for the right reasons. We have to love it because it talks about the uniqueness of our God, it talks about how perfect Allah is, and it talks about everything that God is Himself. So that's why we have to love it. Assalamu alaikum. That's all.
This is, mashallah, beyond of what I was imagining that will come out. So, we're going to say Jazakumullahu khairan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make their knowledge more beneficial to us. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take them to the Jannah with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect them from anything, any evil eye, anything that, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also to make them those who give the knowledge of Islam to anyone who they meet, whether it is Muslim or non-Muslim. So, inshallah ta'ala, we are saying one more time, Jazakumullahu khairan, Barakumullahu feekum, inshallah ta'ala.